me Kofi Kenata. High grade family.
If you haven't subscribed yet, why have you not subscribed? Bonjour, ciao, konnichiwa, akwaba, hes, uribo. How you guys doing and welcome back to my channel. I'm Miss Supreme. Hey, you already know. Thanks for tuning back in, guys. So today I'm just doing a short tutorial video to show you guys how I wrap my circle cakes in fondant. This process does get a little bit tricky, so please do make sure you watch the video all the way to the end because I've put in there some nice tips and tricks to help you through this process. So today I'll be showing you guys how I wrapped this cake in fondant. This is just a tutorial on how I wrapped it. If you want to see the full video on how I managed to get this finished look, please do leave me a comment and I will post that video straight up. So let's jump right into it. As you can see, I've already crumb coated my cake. I'm going to be using the white ready to roll fondant, some icing sugar, and you will need a rolling pin. So first I started by pouring some icing sugar onto the worktop so that the fondant doesn't get stuck to the worktops. So when you're rolling it, please do make sure you keep adding icing to the rolling pin, otherwise your fondant will get stuck to the rolling pin and you don't want that. If you do need to add more icing to the worktops, please do. Keep lifting up the fondant to make sure it's not getting stuck. Roll the fondant to the required size. If you do need to trim off any bits, trim them off. You will need to roll the fondant onto the rolling pin so it's easier to put it onto the cake, because if you use your hands, the fondant will most likely rip. So just place it over the cake, just like I'm doing. This part is very delicate. You need to make sure you pull down the fondant, not too much, otherwise you will get a rip into your fondant. Gently lift up the fondant as you press down to take out any creases. Make sure you do this all the way around the cake. Keep lifting it up before you press it down. So once you have the fondant laid down, you will need a smoother, which you'll use to smooth the top and the sides of the cake. Using the smoother to take out any creases and smoothen the fondant. Make sure you do it all the way around until the cake is nice and smooth. If you see any creases, just go over them. Make sure it's perfect. Next thing that you're going to do is get a sharp knife so you can trim off the extra fondant that you do not need. When you're doing this, you need to make sure that you trim just the right amount. You don't want to over trim, because if you over trim, it's going to be hard to put back the fondant. So I personally rather leave a little bit of a gap and then press it down than to trim way too much and not have any fondant left. So just a little tip, make sure you do not over trim. As you can see, I'm using the blunt side of the knife because my cake was already on the cake board and I do not want to mark my cake board. So just make sure you trim all the way around the cake, making sure you press it down to make sure that the fondant is stuck on. As you can see, guys, if you over trim, you can always tuck it back in. So guys, please do make sure you're paying attention because you don't want to under trim. It'll give you a lot of unnecessary stress. So just make sure you cut it all the way around. Like I said, if you over trim, you can tuck it back in nice and easy. As you can see, I'm tucking it back in. So you just have to make sure you do this all around the cake to make sure the cake is nice and smooth and you don't have any awkward edges coming out of the cake. Just do that all the way around your cake to make sure everything is nice and smooth. If you need to use a smoother again, just use it. Make sure everything is nice and perfect and you're done. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Feel free to leave me a comment letting me know what you thought of the video or what you want to see next. Also, if you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Alright, thanks for tuning in, guys. Mwah. See you soon.